Yeah. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean.
So we about to take off.
Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run against spitting with a little bit of soul, no times.
Welcome to the Please Remain Calm podcast. I'm Ben Gonzalez.
And I am Daniel Gonzalez. And we're... Oh, shit. Sorry, man. Sorry to step on your toes.
Do the disclaimer.
Sorry. Before we start anything here, before we even introduce our guest, who's an awesome guest, I want to say that every opinion stated here is our own. It does not reflect the opinions of the Los Angeles City Fire Department or Los Angeles County Department of Health Services.
Thank you. I also want to say it's early.
It is early.
So if we sound different, if we look a little different, if there's boogers in my eyes or something, it's early. All right?
Early on a Saturday morning.
It's not a big deal. Paramedics, firemen, you work early. Half the time when people encounter us in the ER, you just look like shit.
Yeah.
You feel like shit. You're like, hey, all right, here. I can't write reports, sleepy.
Yeah,
all right, tiny.
exactly.
It's it's a fact of life, and we interview firefighters a lot on this show, and sometimes they want to do the show when they get off of work. So we're here butt ass early on a Saturday with our guest.
Thank you. And as you can tell, Ben is very happy about this shit. Now let's meet the guy that's responsible for this. For all of this shit.
For coming in hot.
Yeah.
Hi.
So this is my buddy Kevin Green. Kevin, say hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Kevin is a firefighter with the LA City Fire Department. We met just randomly working a saw day together one day in South Central LA. Kevin worked down there near the jungle at 94s. And just hit it off, man. Yes. Kevin's a great guy. We have same personalities. Just found out sorry. I was going to say that's your birthday, but that's not your birthday. That's the date the incident happened.
It's close enough.
But I've always felt a really cool connection with this dude. He's got a really positive vibe. Yeah, positive vibe. I felt like our energy's always jived. And we actually haven't even really worked together.
No, since
then.
No, just that one time.
Yeah, and then kept in touch through social media and just like
Yeah.
seeing each other at the hospspital every now and then.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there are people...
That happens.
Hey, dude, there are people...
There's some people you never work with.
And listen, not that this podcast is about, all my feelings and all that shit, but there are people and energies that your energy and your aura and shit just fucking vibe with.
Yes.
And that can happen with women or men or whatever, or animals, you know what I mean? A pet that you fucking love. And that's what I feel like me and you got, dude. Just like a cool friendship. And when we see each other, it's all love. And I know all about you and your family. And I follow your wife. And you have beautiful children. And man, good guy. And I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
And you also just so happen to have this crazy ass incident that happened to you one night back on October 13th.
2009.
2009. Sorry. Fuck, that would have been so much more dramatic if I knew the actual.
You did great. That was solid read.
Enough.
Before we get into the incident, though, dude, I want to talk a little bit about your life, like before the fire department.
Okay.
And specifically about like your martial arts and stuff like that.
Okay.
You've been athletic your whole life. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
How did you get into martial arts? Like, how old were you when you got into martial arts?
So I was 5 when I got into martial arts. How I got into it, my dad, growing up, I was born in 86. So growing up, my dad, we would watch like Karate Kid, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Last Dragon,
yes,
yeah,
Bruce
buddy,
Leroy, yes.
Yeah.
So
we watched movies like that, and when I was 5, it came down to my dad asking me which karate studio I wanted to go to, and I grew up in between my mom and my dad's house in Compton and Gardena, and so we picked a karate studio in Gardena, and so right over there in like near Serra HS, if anybody's familiar with that area.
Yeah.
We went to one karate studio first, and it was a Taekwondo studio, and I wasn't really feeling the vibes. And then I went to the studio that I ended up staying at, which was called Gardena Tangsudo at the time. They changed their name to Subakdo, like probably in 98 or 99.
Yeah.
It was just because of I think it was a name matching thing or something like that. There was somebody else who had the same name or something.
Well, now Tang Sudo is a style, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How rare is that a Tang Sudo studio? Because we took Tang Sudo, right?
Same mom.
Yeah. Mom, me, and Carlos.
There's not that many of them.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So
dude.
down here in Southern California, there was like the one that I went to in Gardena. There was one in Lomita. There was one in Torrance.
Culver City.
There was one in Culver City.
Yeah.
There was one in Lakewood. And then they had them like further down towards San Diego.
Yeah.
So
the Culver City one. It was the guy who ran it was the guy that made all the trophies for our Little League.
Art Sanchez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He had a trophy business, and it was just
he was like a normal,
short, regular
short,
looking kind of fat
pot-belly,
Mexican guy.
regular dude.
Yeah, but 20th degree black belt Tang Soo Do.
My mom's like,
you just whoop
hey,
your
we're
ass.
gonna take Tang Soo Do at the park, and I'm like, all right, sweet, Tang Soo Do, and learn how to. And here's the trophy guy, he comes out, and I'm like, oh, the fuck,
You're in the class with us,
and he just whapa, you know what I mean, and then like it pops when you do a proper kick.
Yes, with the crisp uniform.
Yo, dude, and that uniform pops on the back of your knee, dude. The first time that dude did that shit, it blew my mind. I didn't know a dude with a panza like that could move that fast.
Like, where did that noise come from?
Like, that's Hart the trophy guy.
Like, I don't know. I was like 9 or 10. When we're taking this, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
That a dude could move that fast and fight that well.
Yeah.
But it didn't stick like it did for you though. When you got there, it was just all over.
When I got there, it was a different time back then. So my instructors were a little bit more physical and a little bit more demanding than they are now. But they were amazing. Tommy Reyes and his son Michael Reyes. I owe everything in my martial arts and becoming the person I am today.
Yeah.
As far as for the values that they taught me.
Sure.
And then the instructors that came after them. So I stayed there for probably about 10 years. And then
and that's kind of the unsung benefit, man, of martial arts. Like you think of martial arts and fucking fighting and like learning all these moves and learning how to defend yourself, but the discipline that comes along, learning what honor is and all that stuff, dude.
Everybody always asks, how did you, because they'll ask me, where did I grow up? Yeah. People will ask me, where did I grow up? When I'm talking to them out on the streets or something like that as a patient, and I'll say Compton, and they'll say, well, how do you talk like that? Or why are you so, why do you say yes, ma'am, or something like that? And I'll tell them it's my martial arts. I started doing martial arts at 5.5. It taught me respect. It taught me discipline. It taught me honor. It taught me, courage. Also taught me when to bow out at the right time, when to fight, when not to fight.
Sure.
So it taught me a lot of things that I didn't know at the time, but looking back and reflecting on it now, it's just like, that was martial arts.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely, man.
Would you saying that your instructors were Reyes? Were they like related to Ernie Reyes?
No, they were not. No, they were not.
Ernie Reyes, another big martial arts guy from our childhood.
Yes.
Not even the Ninja Turtles or the movies. We watched Sidekicks.
When
we were little.
Bro.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't even know if you remember that
No,
show,
I
dude.
do
This
not.
was like 85.
Yeah.
For some reason,
like
there
when
was a
Hunter was
sitcom, and it was like a white dude that was like a detective or something.
Private Eye or something.
And I don't know how, but like he adopted Ernie Reyes. And Ernie Reyes is like 6.
Yeah.
Like a little Filipino kid, but he looks Mexican to us, right?
Yeah.
His name's Ernie Reyes.
Yeah.
He's just
You're
whooping
like,
ass.
Fucking up perps left and right, dude.
Yeah, he's like bringing him along to do bust and shit.
Nice.
Like, why is this kid there? The kid whoop everybody's ass and shit. We're like, damn, sidekicks.
I was like, I could
Canceled,
do that.
bro.
Do you guys remember Three Ninjas?
Three Ninjas? Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Rocky
Three
loves
Ninjas.
Emily. Yeah.
I mean, dude, back then too, man, it just the culture of the martial arts, it was I mean, UFC and MMA is huge now, but best of the best, blood sport, all those Jean-Claude Van Damme
used
was
to do
kicking
that all the
everyone's
time. This one would all the time. Tape it up, tape it up.
I just showed my son that the other day. We watched it. He was just, he's 4 years old.
But at that time, it's such a. I mean, you got to understand. Like, it was every movie that came out was a martial arts movie, and it was just kind of
90s.
this booming thing. So, as an impressionable kid, and then going into this studio and being taught these great life lessons that you can see how impactful something like that could be on a young kid's life. How did that? Or did that help you in becoming a firefighter? Or where did you even start getting the thoughts of moving toward a career in the fire service?
So I would say, yes, martial arts definitely did help me. It kept me disciplined. It kept me balanced. It kept me structured and on the line, and like I said, I had the opportunity to veer off that line growing up. So what led me into the fire department, I was always interested in medical aspect, like becoming either a doctor or becoming like a pharmacist or something like that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really interested in staying in school that long.
Yeah.
And not that I hated school, it's just that I didn't want to do that long in school. And so
it's a commitment for sure. Man.
So I was talking to my father, and he was talking to me about the fire department, and he had a coworker at the time, or a former coworker who he worked with, who had worked at 95s at the time. Eric Strode, he's retired now. Yeah, you know Strode. Yeah. And so I was in the 10th or 11th grade, and so Eric brought me down, and because Eric used to work with my dad at the airport. Eric brought me down, sat me down, kind of gave me a list of, you know, what I would need to do. I still didn't really know that much about the fire department. I just kind of knew that they, you know, obviously they fought fire and that they went on people who were sick. I didn't know like everything else that the fire service encompassed. Right. And so he kind of like gave me this, you know, wrote it down on a little, not on a towel, but on a yellow piece of paper. It was just like, okay, EMT, fire careers, fire academy, ambulance operator program, paramedic school,
checklist.
And so it was basically just like a checklist running down what I needed to do, and I just stuck with that. Yeah. And so like when I remember I was a senior in high school, and I had this was, you know, so after I had already met Eric, people in my high school had known that I wanted to be a firefighter. So we had career day. And I don't know if you know Job Leon, Captain Leon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So him and his brothers went to Serra High School. And so they came for career day. And they everybody knew that I wanted to be a firefighter, but I had just had my hair taken out of braids back then. Yeah. So it was all in crinkles and stuff like that. Yeah. So the first thing he says, he was like, you're the one that wants to be a firefighter? I was like, yes, sir. He was like, better cut that shit off before you come to my station. And I was like, yes, sir. And I was like, next day I went, cut it off, went visited his station, sat down for a couple of mock oral interviews, and then I got his, you know, I recorded him. That tape is golden now because, I mean, he does those mock oral interviews for like money now. Yeah. So I just listened to that, listened to his interviews, stuck with the plan, and then, you know, I went to EMT school at El Camino High School in 2004. Yeah. Like right after high school.
Yeah. El Camino College?
Oh, sorry. El Camino College. I'm sorry. Yeah. El Camino College. And then started taking fire science
It's funny you bring those things up. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Bringing up the checklist, right? Because I'll get people asking me all the time, younger guys, or hitting me up through social media, you know, hey man, you know, can you get me started? How do I become a firefighter? And I always tell people, I can give you a list of things that you should do to prepare yourself for this career. Okay. But I can't make you finish that list. Yes. It's going to feel like this is taking forever. Yeah. You know, you just have to chip away and keep taking classes and keep improving your resume. And when a test comes up, take the fucking test. Yeah. And then you know what a test is like, and you're not so nervous the next time. Then the next test you take, you pass. Then you get an interview, and then you fuck that interview up, and you're like, okay, your next interview, you know what you know what I mean? Yeah. But you keep picking away, and you keep plugging along. That's how you become a firefighter. You build it. You know, and it's a lot of people don't have the determination to do that at a young age. Yeah. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, because it can be done. It's done all the time. And if it's something that you want to do, you know, everything you want in life is on the other side of fear. I promise you. You know, you got to push through that shit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yeah. So like you were saying, it can be done. I started when I was 18, started, you know, applying 2005. And what I used to do is the first test I ever took was LA City, and I failed the reading and math portion. Yeah. You know, I didn't know what it was going to be encompassing and stuff like that. I had taken, you know, my EMT. I had taken a couple fire science classes, but that was it. I was working at Compton Fire Department at the time as an ambulance operator, which, you know, shout out to them. That was like one of the best opportunities I ever had.
Were they doing the TV show when you were there?
They did do the TV show when I was a rookie there, because later on I got hired there as a firefighter, but I was there for 2 years as an ambulance operator, which is basically, for people who don't know, it's basically doing what like an LA City 800 series ambulance does. Yeah. Transporting BLS patients.
BLS, EMT.
And you run a lot.
Yes,
you get a lot of experience.
You run a lot there. There was only at the time 2 paramedic ambulances or 2 squads.
You were a cadet also?
Now they have 3 squads. No, just an ambulance.
Also?
No, just an ambulance operator.
But don't they kind of like activate you to do like reserve shit too?
They have reserves, and you have to have a fire academy to be a reserve. And I didn't have a fire academy. So they had some ambulance operators who did both. I didn't do both. There was like a guy always telling me, oh, you're never going to get hired if you don't go through a fire academy. You're never going to get hired. I'm just like, all right, let's watch. Yeah. It's all right, Dion.
So they didn't try to get you to go through their academy?
They did. He told me, he was like, you're not going to get hired if you don't go through James Shern. Forget medic school. Forget medic school. And I'm just like, all right, no, dude, I'm going through medic school. You know, I was calculating it all up and looking at how much a department can save back then. Yeah. It was like over $100,000.
Oh yeah.
So why wouldn't they take the paramedic over like everybody else who has a fire academy? Not knocking anybody.
It is smart. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
where they go medic school first.
Yeah, you definitely save a city a lot of money if you're a paramedic beforehand. And you have to understand too that is the world we live in now. You know, it's not the fire department of the 80s or 90s where we're going to a lot of structure fires. Yeah. A lot of like pre-fire planning, a lot of like fire prevention happens now. There's a lot more sprinklers in places. We just don't go to the fires, but we are sure as hell going to a lot of medical calls, man. Yes. Double what my dad went to when he retired. Yes. You know. Yeah. Okay.
And then from there, I got hired by Compton, did their drill tower, and then came on with LA City afterwards. I was going through the process with LA City and Compton at the same time. Oh, okay. But LA City wouldn't take me because I didn't have my paramedic license at the time. Yeah. So I took a leave of absence. This was actually cool through Daniel Freeman. Took a leave of absence through them. I went through the drill tower at Compton. Oh. For 3 months. Went through the drill tower at Compton. Yeah. Came back and then did my first house probation and my internship at the same time at Fire Station 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was that just like a special thing they did because of your situation?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. To have you on as a medic. But then that's funny, too, because you have this guy telling you, oh, you got to go to Jim Shern. They hire you.
Yeah.
So funny, man.
I passed the test. I passed the fire test. Yeah. Not having a fire academy, still passed it.
Yeah. I can remember watching that show, and there was one dude, one dick.
Oh, no. I'm gonna stand up for him, dog.
I don't want to. Oh no, that's what I was gonna ask you.
That's my best friend.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Watching the show, you got the impression like, damn, this dude is the one asshole in the show. And I don't want to say his name if you don't want to, but that's what I was gonna ask you. Is he really? Was he that guy really like that, or was he?
No,
cool?
No, he's not like that. Okay. And I mean he knows who he is. I mean, anybody who watched the show knows his name.
So funny,
that could be a whole other episode.
I always tripped out on that because obviously I know what the fire department's like, and I know what personalities like. But I also am an actor, and I know that shows will twist things.
Yes.
I can remember watching the show and people being like, "Oh man, this dude's always a dick. Oh, this dude's always a dick to the rookies and shit." I'm like, this is a reality show, fool. They got to create drama in these reality shows,
and to his,
reality
and to his, yes, they were definitely creating reality because, I like I said, I was there when the whole filming was going on.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be where Wilson's part was supposed to be, but then I left to go to LA City, and so they were like, no, we're not going to get you onto the show.
Yeah.
So Wilson got the main lead. He was my rookie counterpart at the time, and that was the one who Danny was picking on basically most of the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was just like, okay, we want you to do this and go, Danny, or Wilson just wouldn't be prepared for something, and Danny just has that type of.
And sometimes you get hammered as a rookie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's part of being a rookie. That's why a lot of people say being a rookie sucks.
And it's not LA City, so they're not getting a lot of stuff's not getting reported.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a whole other thing you could touch on with Compton Fire.
Yes,
because the path that Kevin took, that's not uncommon for guys from that area or just South Bay period that want to get on the job, because it's smart, dude. You can get in as a reserve with them and you'll fight fires.
Yes.
You can get in as an AO with them without being a paramedic and run runs.
Oh, yes.
And you see a lot
Real
of
calls.
stuff, right?
Real calls.
And they will hire you because they have turnover.
Yes.
There's some guys that work at Compton forever.
Yes.
But for the most part, guys leave Compton.
All right. So for everyone out there listening,
50-50.
I want to say 70, 60-40.
Yeah.
60-40. Because they don't pay bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're active. They're busy. Yeah. It's just like, there's still a lot of older guys who are still on, who probably have like 15 to 20 years on. And but within the last 5 years, they've had a lot of turnover. I mean, they've had probably 10 to 13 guys that have left to go to county, Pasadena.
Yeah.
City.
That's the case for like all the small departments.
Yeah.
But they also have their like a bunch of crazy ass stories.
Oh yeah,
I had wild controversy.
I had my craziest controversy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was exactly. There was
That's a whole other episode. Maybe we can have
there was
him
one
on.
dude who was like a shooting star, and then he went down big time there. And it was like, whoa.
But listen,
got these tattoos.
There's a whole generation of young firefighters that came up and watched the show and thought Danny was an asshole, and so I want, hey, Danny, if you're out there, we got your back, man.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely
we got your back.
Definitely not an asshole.
Let everyone know, Danny's a good dude. All right, it's from the horse's mouth.
Mentor.
Right?
He's
glad we can do that for you, Danny.
Might as well name
as
the
a
show
fellow
now, 'cause
Danny,
people are
you
probably
know?
listening, wondering what the show is if they weren't watching BET and
It was
you know.
it was called First In.
First
BT
In, yeah.
First In. It was narrated by Tyrese. It only got on for one season.
Followed around the
Followed
chief
around,
that we were talking about.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it's one of
Yeah.
those shows as you're coming up. You
Yeah.
know, you especially when you're interested in this career.
Yeah.
You know, you're watching Rescue 911 all
Yes.
the time, and you were
Yes.
watching the show. Any show that came up that was like that, everyone was all over it.
Yes.
You know, or at the stations or at the private ambulance stations.
My buddy Julio from worked at
Oh, yeah,
64 for a
yeah,
long time. He was a Compton guy before that, right? And he worked.
You know
with,
Julio? He worked at
Last
64.
Yes.
Church
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Churchill's my boy, dude.
Oh,
We used
okay.
to be EMTs together.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was a Compton guy before you,
Okay.
like late 90s,
Okay.
early 2000s, and he worked with the chief
Yeah.
in question
Yes.
a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
he had a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So now, you left Compton. Now you're at LA City.
Yeah.
What drill tower did you go through?
I went through Drill Tower 40, class 0804.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So there's obviously different training centers for
Yes.
LA City, and we actually happen to go to 40s.
Oh, okay,
I went to
cool.
40s also. See what I'm saying, man? See what I'm saying?
Same
And so how the drill tower went great?
Yes, yeah. So the drill tower went great. I mean, it definitely wasn't a blow through because I had just gone through a drill tower the year before with
Sure, yeah.
Compton. So my body had like been broken down from Compton.
Yeah.
So LA City was good. It wasn't as horribly physical as Compton was.
Yeah.
But it was more structured and more technical, and there was more stuff that you can get knocked out from.
Yeah.
So and the academics were more on top. Captain Isasaki, his tests were legendary.
Yeah.
And so the drill tower was good. It was fun. We made good friends. I stayed with some people in the drill tower, I graduated from there and went on to my first house at 15's.
15s.
Yes.
15s downtown.
Great place.
We've talked to Rob Madrano
Okay,
on
yes,
the podcast.
yes.
He's got the Medal of Merit, so we talked to him
Yeah.
about that. He's a 15s guy, and our dad actually promoted an engineer out of old 15s.
Yep, that's where I was at.
And were you at 15s when this incident that we're here to talk about happened?
Yes,
Okay.
I was.
So let's dig into the nuts and bolts. Set the table for us. What was going on that day? Were you on duty? Were you off duty?
Okay, so I was off duty. It was October 13th, 2009. I was on a first date at the time, and we were coming home from Long Beach. The date had ended, and I had wanted to show her the drill tower because I was like proud of this is where I had graduated from.
Sure, yeah.
So we could have first date talk,
And
buddy.
you're right there.
Exactly.
And it's a cool drive over the bridge.
It's a cool drive over the
Oh,
bridge.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Stretch out. Yeah.
something.
Okay, gotcha.
No. So we had. I could have taken the 710, but the path went different. Boop. Exactly.
Yeah,
Boom,
okay.
boom. So it kept me along that way, and then from there we drove off. Just looked at the drill tower. Got back on the freeway or on the St. Vincent Thomas Bridge, and which is in San Pedro or the harbor area, if you guys are familiar. And then got onto the 110 northbound, and so it was raining that night. It just started raining. It was dark, and then we were driving along in the number 1 lane. So the freeway northbound 110 is split up. You have your shoulder divider. I'll paint out the situation.
Sure.
The shoulder divider, which is along the left side of the number 1 lane if you're going northbound, and then you have like 2, 3, 4, 5, like that.
Right.
And it paints out like that. And so I was driving in the number 1 lane, and then about like maybe 50 to 100 feet ahead of me, I saw like a car that was stopped, and the front half of his car was in the number 1 lane, and the back half of his car was in the shoulder divider lane.
Okay.
And there was a car that had just clipped the nose of his car, and had gone off to the right side, so off to the...
So you're in the fast lane, essentially.
Yes.
What would be considered the fast lane?
Yes.
Layman's terms.
Yes.
And you see up ahead stationary lights, or do you see lights spinning around like you saw the accident happen?
I see blinking lights,
okay.
and then I see a car
way off.
that literally just hit him. I was like, oh shit, that car just hit him.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
Oh, man.
all right. So you see this happen as you're coming up.
Yes.
So you obviously automatically slow down.
So I slowed down, pulled over to the left. I pulled over all the way into the shoulder divider lane.
Sure.
In front of him, about like 20, 25 feet in front of him. I told my date, please stay in the car. I'll get out. I'm just going to see if he's okay. I had my turnouts in the back of my car that night because I was pulled out. That was during the brownouts.
Yeah.
So that was when we were like closing down companies and, members were getting displaced for like a whole segment.
Sure.
So that whole segment, I was pulled out to 66s.
Okay.
So I had my turnouts in my car because I was supposed to go to 66s that next day. So I went to his car, went and approached him, assessed him, made sure he was okay. He was alert, oriented, talking to me.
What was the damage like on the car?
The damage of his car, it was front end damage on the passenger side.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just a little bit. And so he was stalled. And I asked him, I said, does your vehicle start? And he said, no. And so I tried to start his car. Car wouldn't turn over. He was on the phone with his mom at the time because I had asked him who he was talking to. He was like, I'm on the phone with my mom. And he was probably in his 30s or something like that. And so then I put his car in neutral because I told him, I was like, okay, I'm going to put it in neutral. Then we're going to push it into like, at least into the
so it's in one lane.
So it's in one lane.
Yeah.
So you're in one lane. So I go back to my car because I didn't have any light. It was dark. And I went to open up the tonneau cover and then grab my flashlight. And then as I go to slam the tonneau cover, that was when it happened. And so...
Take your time, man.
Yeah.
It's one of the most dangerous, even for us, going to a traffic accident on the freeway, in an open freeway. And listen, it's dangerous anytime you get out of the rig and start working around cars that are moving around. The most dangerous time that we do that, in all honesty, is when the freeway doesn't have many people on it.
Yeah.
Because people are fucking flying on the freeway. When there's a lot of traffic, you're really paying attention. You don't want to hit anybody. You don't want to clip anybody. But when there's nobody on the freeway, you're pedal to the metal, and you might have the
that's when you won't look sometimes.
And it's not when you're
because
looking.
no one's in front of you.
A lot of times, like when I get on the freeway, when I was a rookie, I was taught, take a flare, light it, and just chuck it as far as you can fucking chuck it down the freeway. It don't even matter where it lands.
Yeah.
Because at least then when people are driving, you see a flare, you go, oh shit, it's this
down.
glowing thing in the middle of the freeway.
Yeah.
What is that for?
Yeah.
So that's still to this day. I was taught that in my first house.
Yeah.
And it's something I still do to this day, dude.
Yeah. And it's
Light
a hard
it
situation.
and chuck it. And it's real, man, because of exactly what happened.
Yeah. And
If
the
you're ready,
CHP,
man.
I think, they advise you to not do this, basically, because of that. But
Exactly.
it's hard when you're there to not do something, and then in your situation, you were literally on a date, talking up what you're doing, going to see the drill tower.
Yeah.
Now something happens.
Yeah.
All right, so you got to jump in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You would have anyways.
I would have anyway.
But
date or not.
now, there's no,
So
go ahead.
yeah, no. So the first feeling I had was like I shat myself. So that was like the first thing I remember. I shat myself. I was just like, then the next thing I remember was like I knew that I got hit by another car. So what ended up happening was another car crashed into the front of his vehicle, which was in the number 1 lane, the fast lane.
Yeah.
Swinging it forward and then pinning me in between the back of my rear passenger side bumper and then the front driver's side.
So you had pulled in front of him?
Yes.
Then. Okay,
Yes.
got it. So the car's tweaked out like this. You're like this. You had gone to your truck to get something,
Turn
and
your
he got...
turn your right hand this way. Like his.
So he's like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
and he
another
got
car
knocked.
hits the front of his.
Gotcha.
And it swings it
Boom.
into me. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Swings it like
Almost
that
like a
into me.
door closing on your
Yes.
hand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's your legs, right?
Okay.
Well,
Your body.
And-
I mean, my leg is what was affected
Yeah.
most. I'm still getting to. Yeah,
Were
I'll talk about that later.
you like in and out of consciousness, or were you
No, I was
fully
awake the whole time. I was
aware
awake the
of
whole
what
time.
of what's going on?
I was awake
Yeah.
the whole time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I stayed awake the whole time. So shat myself. Realized. Then I realized that my right leg was burning. So my right leg was on my tailpipe. Since my truck was still running, so my right leg was being burned on my tailpipe, and I was like, "Oh shit, my leg's burning!" And so I stepped out. I was like crushed, but I wasn't pinned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it was. I didn't need extrication. It
were
was just
stuck
kind of
there,
like
yeah.
wiggle
Yeah, a little
out,
space, yeah.
wiggle out. Stepped out with my right leg, and then I stepped down with my left leg, and then that was when I was like, "Oh fuck!" It was just like
Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
nothing
God.
there.
Oh shit.
And I was like, oh, fuck, my leg's broken. And I was like, what I remembered. And so then I had yelled at I'm just going to say her name. I had yelled at Janika. And then I had told her, get out the car. And I looked to my left to see how the guy was doing. And he was like kind of crawling like along the shoulder divider lane. And I had talked to him, or not talked to him, but I just yelled. I was like, go to the K rail, go to the K rail, go to the other side.
Yeah.
Because my thought was, well, we can get hit again over here, but we're not going to get hit again on the other side.
Yeah.
So I hopped on my right leg, sat down on the K rail, and then like pulled myself onto the K rail where I'm sitting like this.
Yeah.
Put my left leg up on the K rail with Janika's assistance, and then I knew my left leg was broken, so I asked her how bad my leg was, and she was like, "It's fucked up." So I had a I don't know if it was my sweater or if it was hers, but we had a sweater, and she had tied it around my leg like as a tourniquet, but she tied it a little low, so I told her to go higher.
Yeah.
I didn't know like the extent of my injuries, but I told her to go higher, and then
And is your brain going paramedic mode right now?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
thinking,
Because when I was,
what would I do if I came onto this?
because when I was sitting there, like I was kind of breathing fast, but then I was just like, you got to remain calm because you have to handle the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just told her to, we're gonna go on to the other side. We went on to the other side of the freeway now. So now we're on the southbound 110 in the middle of the dark.
Sure. Yeah.
10:30, 10:45 at night, raining. Somebody could easily have fucking,
Looking at
Yeah.
the accident. Oh, what's going on over there? And not even fucking notice
exactly,
you. Yeah.
exactly.
Which is exactly why they tell you not to do
Yeah.
that if you're going. You know what I mean? Or you'll see people, driving on the other side of the freeway and slow down or stop to look. You know what I mean? And you're risking somebody on that side not seeing you or looking at the
Yeah.
accident as well, looking
Yeah.
and smashing into you as well. So just as dangerous as being on the other side. Had somebody already called 911 for the accident, or did you ask?
So I told Janika to call 911 when she was in the car, so she had called. And then when we had gotten onto the other side of the freeway, I had asked her to call my mom because she had already tied the tourniquet, and we're laying there. And
that's 36s?
County
District?
36s.
County 36s.
County 36s.
Okay.
So it's County 36s. I had, not asked her to call my mom. I asked her to call my dad because I knew like how my mom would react.
Sure, yeah.
So I called my pops first.
And this is your first date with this girl?
Yeah, first date
Oh,
with this
yeah.
girl.
Crazy.
And so my stepmom picked up, and I just, I told my stepmom what happened. She didn't overreact. She just remained calm
Yes.
and said, okay, I'm going to tell your dad. And then I called my mom, and then she was like, and I was like, just call dad. And at that time, that's when fire department had showed up.
Yeah.
And I was, my first reaction when I told them I was a firefighter, I work for LAC Fire Department. I'm supposed to work at 66s tomorrow. And I guess one of the guys had recognized me from the Compton TV show.
Oh, yeah.
So like after the call, he had started calling Compton guys and told them. So they were already at the hospital before I even got there.
Yeah. That's that should be pointed out too, man. That like anytime you're injured off of duty, you're supposed to call in and let the department know. But anytime I've run on anybody, like we had that the firefighter from Georgia that was struck and killed in our district.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the first things we did was call his station,
Yes.
because you'd be, and I'm sure we'll get into it here about how important the guys were to you and your
Yes.
recovery. But when the ball gets rolling with a department with resources, with guys that really, really care about you, man, you'd be surprised what kind of mountains can get moved to get you what you need, if you need it, I've got another buddy that was injured in another county and was at a hospital and was seriously injured, needed to be transferred to a trauma center. And the department, got all of the resource helicopters and everything to get him to where it goes. So that is just part of being part of the fire family. We've talked about the fire family in the past, but anytime you're injured or
That's where it comes into
it's
play.
It's good that we do that. One of the first things we do is call your station because that's a bunch of guys that have resources that fucking love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That are going to get the ball rolling with things. So, Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. So when I called my stepmom, I knew where they were going to transport me because I knew where the trauma center was.
Yeah.
Right there. So I told them we were going to Harbor, UCLA, and then when they arrived on scene, they put me on a backboard. They cut my clothes off. I didn't know the extent of my injury still, but I knew my blood pressure was low because they couldn't give me any pain medicine. So I couldn't get any pain management out in the field.
Yeah. And
then I remember just being in the back. And then as soon as they opened up the doors, this was through Old Harbor, UCLA.
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing my dad. Like my dad was like...
Oh, he's there already?
Yeah. So he was already there.
Yeah.
Then they wheeled me in. And then, like I remember seeing Chief Gibson, a couple Compton guys, Danny, Marcel.
Yeah.
And then
and were the guys en route, were they talking to you about were they telling you anything about your injuries? Hey man, you look like you're gonna be okay, we got a tourniquet on. Were they doing any of that to you, or were you just kind of in the dark with your thoughts going?
No, I just remember them telling me I'm gonna be okay. They did have a tourniquet on. They told me they couldn't give me any pain medicine because of the of my blood pressure.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna put a couple of photos if it's okay with you, man.
Yeah.
Let's put photo number 1 up. So that's your left lower leg, right?
Yes.
The outer aspect of your left lower leg.
Yes. So that
is that from the burn, or is that just part of the road rash that you?
Oh, okay. So the injuries that I had ended up sustaining, I had a compound tip hip fracture with compartment syndrome. God. So for those that don't know, like compartment syndrome is basically, for like the layman's terms, when a certain area of your body swells so much, and it will release like lactic acid and stuff like that, which will end up killing the area that is in that area. And then that lactic acid, could end up being released to the rest of your body.
Yeah, so that's in your system.
Compartment syndrome is very dangerous.
Let's put a photo 2 up.
So that
was
where, sorry, Danny.
Go ahead, go back.
So that was where they had sliced it to relieve the pressure.
Okay.
They had sliced my leg to relieve the pressure on the left lateral side. The next
go ahead and show.
The next picture is from where they took the skin grafts. So that was a couple of surgeries afterwards. I had like 6 surgeries after the initial 6-hour one.
So essentially all that tissue inside was swelling up to the point where you seal off basically your blood flow to all of your muscle fibers there.
Yes.
And without blood flow, obviously your cells are going to die.
Yes.
The byproducts of cell death are toxic to the rest of your body. You start getting blood flow through there again. Those toxins get back in your system, get through your whole body. You get septic. You can fucking die.
Yes.
We had Leroy Rogers.
I
we
know
had
Leroy.
him in here. He had the rollover accident.
Yes.
We talked all about it then. Same kind of scar that you have here, but it's a serious thing that you can. You can. I mean, I've seen or heard of instances where kids had something fall in their arm or something like that. They had it, and trying to get permission from parents to actually do what they did for you to relieve the pressure, and parents not wanting to do it, and the doctors actually having to tell them, like, listen to me, I'm going to call child care on you because
CPS.
because you are child protection, because you are you're endangering your kid's life, So it's a deadly thing just in and of itself, that one injury. What else besides this one?
Okay, so with the compartment syndrome, and then the tib fib was broken. So I don't think we have any pictures up there, but I never had any pictures of that. I just have an X-ray of it. But my tib fib was broken, and the bone was poking through like my skin. So from the initial surgery, they had pulled the bone back together, put a titanium rod through my tibia, put 4 screws in, 2 up at the top, 2 at the bottom, cut the left side, cut the right side of my left lower leg to relieve the pressure, and then on the left inner aspect of my thigh,
Let's put a 3 up. And can we turn the air on, man? I'm sorry. Yeah, we had it on last time. So that's the inner part of your left leg.
Inner part of my left leg. So that's a view from after they would take the wound vac off. Those black things right there.
Yeah.
Those are like sponges that they put onto your wound, and then they attach that hose to the sponge, and it basically sucks out all the fluid because I had
drainage.
I had so much fluid in there. And then the bandages up along the thigh. I don't know if you can see how big my thigh is right there, but the bandages up there. I had a 20 centimeter avulsion. So that's basically just a rip of your skin
Jesus.
of my left inner thigh from the accident.
So it just basically fucking like a grape
Yeah.
popped your leg in a few different spots.
Yes.
If you listen to our show regularly and you watch it on YouTube, you know, like, you're gonna hear and see gnarly stuff. But we'll just content warning this picture.
Yeah.
If you're listening
I guess
and
we
you
should have
do watch
beforehand.
it on YouTube, because
Yeah.
this is a hell of a photo.
All right.
Even for our show.
Yeah.
Man.
Are we back on us? Yeah. Okay. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
So you have these obvious injuries on your legs,
Yes.
right? Any peripheral injuries, back, pelvis,
Um,
abdomen?
None noted at the time. I
None,
mean,
yeah.
I it's been 12 years, I think now,
Yeah,
or 13 years. And, now I kind of do have some pain, residual pain, like in my hip area and stuff like that. But I haven't gone back to get my body checked for that.
I want to talk about, so these surgeries, this is you in recovery here.
Yeah, that was when I went home.
This all happened at the hospital, right? You had your surgeries, got repaired what you needed to get repaired. What was recovery like after that, man?
So it was 3 different hospitals, actually. It was the first one was Harbor UCLA. Harbor UCLA, and I was there for 5 days. And then from there, they took me to UCLA Santa Monica because they didn't know if I was going to need more orthopedic surgery or not. And that was one of the best ones. The department had picked it up as an on-duty injury.
Yeah. Which is great. Yeah, because
great.
when you
were
are
helping.
off duty and you
Yeah.
pull up to something, you have a duty to act.
Yes.
If you have a
Exactly.
skill like a paramedic or a firefighter, you have a duty to act when you see something happening that you can help it. So when that happens, when you're off duty, if you're a paid member of a fire department, at least for the LA City Fire Department, and you're injured in performing that act, you're considered to be on duty.
Yes.
Because there's different benefits if you get injured off duty. I mean, it's basically you got to use your sick time, and
Yes.
it's not related to the department. Than if you were injured on duty. If you're injured on duty, it's an on duty thing. You're part of the department. Department's got your back.
Yes.
So it's great that they make that distinction when you stop and help something and something like this happens.
Yeah.
How was the department as far as helping you out in this?
The department was great. From the get-go, I remember, certain chiefs, Chief Hogan, Chief Combs, being there almost every day. And still to this day, we have a great relationship. They helped my family out extremely. And then their EITs at the time, who are now captains, Cook and Fresh, or Captain Lewis. They were extremely helpful with my family. Anything that we needed, the department was there. There was never like, hey, dropping a ball or anything like that. I had like a nurse case manager, so she would like make sure everything was getting done. And, made sure my transfer from hospital to hospital was okay. Because after UCLA Santa Monica, I ended up at Long Beach, and I was there for a month.
Oh, wow.
And so...
Just physical therapy and...
Well, that's where they did all the plastic surgery. So that's where they did
Memorial?
that's where they did... Yes,
Yeah.
that's where they did the skin grafts. But the skin grafts didn't happen the first surgery. It took 3 surgeries because I had infections in my leg.
God.
So they couldn't
away.
do it because the infection was still there. So, like... getting knocked out, intubated, knocked out, intubated, knocked out, intubated. And that was something I didn't even talk about. Like, I don't know if I can go down, but like, from the first initial surgery, when I was like coming out of the surgery, because I said it was like 6 hours, I remember like hearing stuff. I remember hearing people talk, hearing people's conversations in the operating room, but I couldn't move. So when I got out, I was still intubated. I can open up my eyes. They didn't extubate me yet because they didn't know if I was going to lose my leg or not, because I still didn't have a pulse. So I remember them coming back with the Doppler and stuff like that, and I was writing stuff down like on paper of just like, hey, can you make sure they knock me out for good? I heard them when they were talking, blah blah blah. Like that. And I'm writing this down.
Yeah.
Could you write?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some of the...
He brought the
I got
notes,
some
man.
of the-
Oh, yeah?
You pull them out if you want,
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man. God, what a strange feeling that must be.
What a guest.
Oh, yeah, he came
Bringing
prepared, man.
the memorabilia.
Do you want me to pass these to
Here,
you?
yeah, let's take a
Okay.
Or I'll hold it up. I'll hold it up to my camera. Yeah. While you talk about it, dude.
So I was just. Might not. It's pencil.
Yeah, it's pretty light.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see it.
Yeah, it's just basically saying like, you know, the girl who I was on with the date is Janika here. Can you send the guys from my station in? When can I be extubated?
Yeah, just whatever little questions pop in your mind, and it's just scribbled.
Yeah.
You know, did they have you restrained?
No. I was on a dilaudid drip. Or no, sorry. At the time, I was on a morphine drip, not dilaudid yet.
Yeah.
But I was on a PCA, so I was able to like give my own self.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So no, I wasn't. And then after they found the pulse, then they extubated me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's when, you know, from there I was at Harbor for like 5 days. But once you get out of Harbor's like surgery area,
Yeah.
and you go upstairs, then it's just like, all right. Can I go somewhere else?
Harbor.
Nurse, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Can I go somewhere else now?
Especially the old Harbor, dude.
Yeah.
At least now it's, you know, redone, remodeled, and everything.
man.
But yeah,
Harbor
man.
2009.
But it can't be understated though. The fact that you were like less than 5 minutes away from there when this happened.
Extremely.
If you are in need of trauma surgery,
Extremely.
Harbor is like one of the best places you can
Best.
go, man. Those
It
guys
definitely
kick
is, yeah.
ass.
Yes.
So you spent a month in Long Beach.
Yes.
Getting everything. That's where the skin grafts were done and all that stuff.
So
right?
yeah, the skin grafts were done there. The final surgeries were done, and then that's where I started doing my therapy, my occupational and then physical therapy there. Yeah. And so that was, you know, just basically learning how to use a restroom again, learning how to shower, learning how to walk, learning how to do basic things, and then from there, like I said, learning how to walk, doing physical activities.
Yeah.
And
I
I remember guys from my station coming by, helping me out, old guys from 15s.
How much of a pause? So you're 3 months in the hospital, obviously, and there's recovery after that. How much of a pause did this put in your rookie year? Because you're a first-house rookie at this point, too. You're just learning this new career that not only has a lot of difficult things that you have to study and tests you have to pass, but it's a fucking physical job, man.
Yes.
How much of a dent did it put in your career?
So, you know what? I try not to look at it as like a dent.
Yeah.
It was just an obstacle I had to overcome.
Sure.
It was, I had challenges, you know, with myself emotionally, looking at it as like a dent and stuff like that. But if I looked at it like that, then I would just always kind of keep myself down and kind of stay in this sunken place.
Yeah.
So, the best thing I could do was just work with what I have and make the best out of it. I wasn't, you know, still on the same sharpness that I was when I was a rookie, but you know, I gave it my all.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't physically able to run and do everything like I was before, but I still, you know, I did what I could.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes back to martial skills you learned in martial arts too.
That's
I would imagine, man.
Yeah.
Persistence, determination, overcoming hard work, perseverance, all that stuff, man.
Yeah, this is like the bull you're supposed to fight to get your last black belt or whatever, right?
Yeah, dude.
Barehanded bull, bro.
You never know, man. And we were talking. Kevin and I got here a little bit early, and we're sitting out front talking just about life. We hadn't seen each other in a while. And we talked about that, man, about just like all you can do. You can't fucking worry about the future. You can't dwell on the past. You have to just do right now the best you can do it. And whatever challenge is in front of you, do your best to overcome it. And if you just do that on the constant, every moment, right? We just live in moments, sheets of time. If you just are the best you can and do the best with what you have right now, you know, your future will unfold and your past will look beautiful to you. Do you feel like that's what's happened with? Do you feel like you've come out of this with a, or what do you feel you came out of this entire experience with? What positives would you say?
Well,
or what did you get out of it, just in general?
So obviously I got, you know, tested. I got tested.
Yeah.
And so I was able to realize, hey, if I can overcome this, I can overcome a lot of things.
Yeah, man.
Also with that, the guy was a drunk driver, so I went after him in a lawsuit, and then I got the max return, and with that, I put a down payment down for my house, which I would not have been able to do in the city of Long Beach, in the area where I live in at the time. So exactly. Bumping me back in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like I said, although I got little residual pains here and there, I know where it's from. You know, I don't have the same ankle flexion as I did before. Ankle flexion radiates up towards here. So it's just like if you can put it together and just like try to adapt and do different things to help kind of like, you know, comfort it or, you know.
Yeah.
Overall, how long were you out?
I was out for a year. So I was out for a year. Yeah,
Okay.
completely. And I came back within a year and went back.
To work? You were working again in a year?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Amazing.
crazy.
I was
Yeah.
I was off completely for 6 months, came back, did 6 months of light duty, and then came back a year later.
Wow.
Impressive, man.
It's like a Alex Smith level
Yeah. Shout out to the doctor.
recovery, man. It's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
That
crazy,
helped
dude.
you out,
Yeah.
man. For real. Man, what a crazy story. I wish we had a little bit more time just to talk about your mental recovery a little bit. And maybe we can come back on, man, and just talk about the shit we were talking about earlier. I would love to have the conversation we had earlier just about life and stuff like that.
Yes.
The type of stuff we talk about off camera.
Yeah.
And why I think you're such a good person, man. I really, 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 really thank you for going back through those memories with us, man. I know it's hard to do.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
But not only does it help you, but I'm sure there's somebody going through something physical right now that maybe they're worried they might not get through, man. And you never know what this podcast is going to reach, if it's going to reach that person.
It's the underlying point of this show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Somebody else is going to hear what you accomplished or what you got through and know that they can get through something too. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to, I know you're not on social media, but do you have anything you want to promote or tell anybody about or anything like that, or no?
I'm proud of my kids. Both of my kids ride
Oh.
BMX, and Benji
Oh,
has
no way.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I have a 6, 4, and then a year and a half.
And they're riding?
Yeah, they ride BMX.
Man.
Awesome.
My daughter doesn't have any Instagram tags or anything like that, but my son, he has a little kick, or
Yeah.
not kick, I'm sorry, what's that?
TikTok?
TikTok, yeah, TikTok. He does a TikTok.
Yeah.
Put his TikTok out there, man. I'll put it on ours.
It's B.
Maybe he can get us some followers.
B Irie BMX.
What is it?
It's
Say it
probably
again.
blown up.
B_Irie_BMX.
All right, check him
He
out.
does cool shit.
Check him out
Yeah.
on TikTok. Hey,
I showed my kids Rad, right?
Oh
the
yeah,
first time,
he loves
right?
that movie.
I bought them bikes because they didn't even like know how to ride bikes. Like I just got custody of my kids earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
So I bought them new Mongoose bikes. Right. I would have loved to have this bike when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They're sitting at my mom's house still.
Oh, no.
I can't get them to ride. I can't. You know, it's so crazy, man.
You gotta get
yeah,
out there
dude.
with them. And
Yeah, man.
I got to show them videos of your kid. I'm showing your kids
Oh, yeah.
TikTok,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Oh,
Gotta
yeah.
get them fired up.
you guys can follow me at DannyGonzo34 on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor, like benign humor on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow our show at PRC Pod on Instagram and Twitter, or at PRC Podcast on TikTok.
TikTok, we're taking and talking.
We're trying to get up there, you know.
All right.
Yeah, I got videos on there right now. Apparently, that blown up off of
And
off the HBO show.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up the next day and you have thousands and thousands and thousands of views, man.
Beautiful.
Like,
Check us
it's a
out.
Wild thing.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. Share the podcast. Please go like and subscribe. Thank you. We're out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey. All right. Hey. Yeah, I mean. Hey. Please do remain calm. About to run against it and with a little bit of soul, no times. Bread.